Welcome to Ruckosaurus Rex, the channel where we review and discuss all things dinosaur and other prehistoric animals. How are you guys doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing exceptionally well, especially because of what you see right in front of you. We're talking about the return of the big boys. And what we have here is Shantungosaurus by Haolonggood. And this is pretty significant right here, because this hadrosaur is the largest, not just the largest recorded hadrosaur, it is also the largest recorded non-sauropod dinosaur. And that is significant. These guys were huge. You thought Edmontosaurus was big, and it is. It's related to this closely to Shantungosaurus, but this guy definitely takes the cake, even when you consider that they have estimated Edmontosaurus to possibly get all the way up to 50 feet. This guy gets even bigger. Kind of scary, kind of impressive. And I won't lie to you, it is officially on my to-do list. I would love to see a skeleton of one of these guys. There are two skeletons in China. One of them's about 47 feet long, and the other one is 52 or 53 feet long. And they're estimated to have gotten up to about 56. These are some big boys. Anyway, we see the packaging right there. As always with Haolonggood, they provide two different variants. We're going to look at the green one today. On the top there, as always, we get thumbnails of other Haolonggood offerings, and because this is a large size box, we get many thumbnails. On the flip, we have, of course, the same artwork that we had previously. So now that we've seen the packaging, without further ado, let's check out the model. And here it is, Shantungosaurus in all its glory. And it looks very impressive. Now, you guys looking at your screens, you may not be able to tell how impressive it is. Trust me, you will. Either after I tell you the measurements, but definitely when we go to the comparisons, you will see that this is both the model and the animal in real life. Very significant for sure. Speaking of that, let's get the measurements out the way. I already got the official measurement, but for the sake of this review, I'm going to do it right here on screen. And what we're getting here is 15 inches, a little over 15 inches is what I'm measuring. The official length is 15.3. Now, when you do the calculations for 135 scale, this comes out to an animal that when you do your calculations, I'm trying to get it in my head, I want to get it kind of correct, it comes out to about 44.5 feet long. Absolutely incredible, because that's large. This right here is larger than the largest Tyrannosaurus Rex that we know of on record, being Scotty and Goliath and all of them coming in at about 43 feet long, somewhere in that neighborhood. And the scary thing is this model represents a Shantungosaurus on the lower end of that scale, because I told you already, they've been reported to be able to get up to 56 feet. And we're here at the bottom end at that, what did I say it was? Did I say it was 44.5 feet long? So that's at the bottom end. So this isn't even technically a full-grown one, you know? Not even a full-grown one. That's crazy to me, how large these guys were. And remember, not too long ago when I reviewed the, both the Haolonggood and the PNSO Edmontosaurus, the PNSO version is the larger species, and that guy is large, the actual species. I believe the PNSO model, which is larger than the Haolonggood model, it still comes in. I believe it comes in too small and still large. You know what I'm saying? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Anyway, that's the length, both the model and in real life. 15.3 inches equates to 40. I just can't fathom that size. 44.5 feet. That's just crazy to me. But we went over that. It lived about 73.5 million years ago, obviously in China. And one of the working theories as to why this guy grew as large as it did is because, as far as we know, because we haven't uncovered any, the absence of sauropods, which we know they're the largest creatures to ever walk the earth, especially when you get into the Cretaceous. But as far as we know, there were no sauropods in the area. So that basically gave these guys room to grow, as it were. So, that theory can be debunked as soon as the sauropod is uncovered in that area, in that time frame in China. But for right now, that's one of the going theories. Anyway, getting to the model itself, wonderful pose, pretty lively. I'm loving that. The green and it's almost as though it's a beige and tan kind of wash, or rather base, and the green is the overspray. That's what I'm getting anyway. And then of course you've got the darker spots, which are probably dark brown and not necessarily black. So you've got that, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's take a look at that skull. See if I can get it by zeroing in, and then of course focusing. Yep, could do that. I love when a plan comes together. But you look at the detail on the head sculpt is looking very, very nice. As always with Haolonggood, our eyes are yellow with a black pupil. The mouth is open. Shantungosaurus had a toothless beak and then powerful jaws, where the jawline starts. So yeah, and this guy was molded with the mouth open. I kind of like that. Most of the time with the herbivores, especially when you're talking about Haolonggood, the mouths are just straight up shut. The head is sculpted and it just has a line to identify where the mouth is. But here you clearly can see where the mouth is, and we'll see about looking in that mouth momentarily. As soon as we look at the top of that skull there. You see on either side of that snout, we've got that, it's like a brownish red color. And you can clearly see the nostrils, pretty cool. We've got some nice scalation going right down the middle, if you guys can see that. And looking at the other side, pretty cool. You've got where the jaws connect with that skin. Very, very nice. I'm assuming this is supposed to be where the ear canals are supposed to be. Taking a look in that mouth, if we can actually get a good look, you can see the tongue in there, and there are teeth, and we've got a nice wet look going on. I love that. See if we can look up top. See what we got going on up top there. That's about the best I'm going to get it, guys. You can see, I can see the glistening, the white look. It looks nice. You can see the teeth, the definition of the teeth. And they have the teeth, they're sculpted nice and fine. And you could see, I think you could see, if you could look, you could see we've got ridges there at the top of the mouth. Pretty cool. Then there's that, the coloration, it's kind of green going on there. We got a little bit of wrinkles going on. When you go down, you've got, you see how the green melts into this brownish, tannish brown type of color. and there are scales and scoots going on along the torso there. The forelimb looking very nice there. You got the green on the rear of it. It's that tan. You look at the feet, the hooves there. You've got a pair of dew claws, if that's what they are called with herbivores. That's what we're going with because it looks similar to that on either side. And then one big hoof there at the base, painted black or dark brown. Then when you get to the rear, got some nice musculature there going on, and the calf looking very nice. This left hind limb is lifting off the ground. You can see that looking very nice. It's got 3 toes all painted black. Then we can get to the rear here, and you see how the tail is going on. It's green, and then it melts and blends into that tannish color, and you got the spots going on all the way down until you get to the end of the tail, and there's a ring at the tip of just pure brown. You've got going along the top there. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and you could see what we got going on along the spinal. Very nice, painted a dark brown, and then the tops of them are that tan, that beige tan kind of color. You get to the other side here, you've got that right hind limb pushing off or landing. I think the left would be technically pushing off, and this right would be landing, and everything's looking nice. Looking underneath, of course, we get the lighter colors going on. That neck has got some nice stripe work going on. Pretty cool there, and nice wrinkles going on. And we've got ourselves an oversized cloaca. Maybe Haolonggood made this with the intention of demonstrating this guy's ready to go to the bathroom, because he definitely eats a lot when you look at it. Comparison time. Now here is the Haolonggood Edmontosaurus. This is the smaller species, and that accounts for the massive size difference between these two species. However, this is the PNSO Edmontosaurus, and you can see it is massively larger than the Haolonggood version. But once again, they're 2 separate species of Edmontosaurus. This is, of course, the larger one, and you see one of the differences right here is that crest. This is the guy that lived with Tyrannosaurus Rex, and one thing has been said, or not said, assumed by many dino enthusiasts, and this was even my thoughts back in the day, that hadrosaurs were the easy pickings for theropods, and a lot of species they were, depending on what theropod you're talking about. But we were definitely thinking in terms of like Tyrannosaurus Rex. That they see a hadrosaur, that's an easy meal. Until I realized the size of these guys, because usually the typical length for a hadrosaur is like 26 to 33 feet, somewhere in there. Different species are within that range. Once you start getting up to like Lambeosaurus, and then of course Edmontosaurus, when they were getting bigger and bigger and bigger than that, you come to realize that these guys were I was going to say handful for Tyrannosaurus Rex, but that wouldn't have been much considering the hands that T-Rexes have. But you know what I'm trying to say. They were just as big as the Tyrannosaurs, and they were bulky and strong, and more or less weighed as much. So you could see right there the thick tails. They had weapons. They had brute strength to try to get up out of there. They couldn't really contend too much with that mouth, that the business center for Tyrannosaurus Rex. But if they could avoid the mouth and inflict some blunt force trauma, they could handle themselves pretty decently, I would assume. And that would definitely be the case for Shantungosaurus. And the crazy thing is Shantungosaurus didn't have to deal with the likes of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. However, it did have its own Tyrannosaur that it contended with. And it isn't what you think it might be, considering we're dealing with China. You would think I was speaking of Tarbosaurus, which up until now was considered the largest tyrannosaur in Asia. But it has been supplanted, believe it or not. Recent studies have shown that this guy, the Zhucheng possibly exceeded the Tarbo in size. And more importantly, Shantungosaurus lived beside this guy right here. So you see the size difference here. Now, this is from PNSO, the Zhucheng Tyrannus. In its defense, this model represents a Zhucheng on the shorter end. You know what I'm saying? So you have to take that into consideration. It was about 33 to 39 feet long back in the day, which exceeds Tarbosaurus. Tarbosaurus was considered 30, I want to say like around 36 feet on average. Probably 36 to 38 at the high end, but on average 36 feet. This particular model is representative of this would technically be a subadult. It's less than 33 feet long. That it works itself out to. It's about 11.5 inches long, and you do the calculation to come up to about just under 33 feet long. So this isn't even. And if you're looking at a full-sized Zhucheng Tyrannus, it isn't even. This is a subadult or it's on the smaller end. It isn't. It hasn't gotten to. It hasn't broken into what's considered adult size. So I am considering this a subadult, even at the full size, which is only a couple feet. And it's into the full size. I can tell you right now that Zhucheng cannot possibly take down a Shantungosaurus on its own. So this was definitely a gang up type of situation right here. And that's kind of crazy. Zhucheng Tyrannus gets the short end of the stick. It needs help to take down its native hadrosaur, whereas T-Rex had the ability to go one-on-one with Edmontosaurus on its terms. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but it is what it is. Once again, chances are there were no sauropods, which is what allowed the Shantungosaurus to grow to such lengths. For this particular species, I went and broke out our old friend Ian Malcolm on what's supposed to pass for Ian as a 135 scale human to compare with our Shantungosaurus. And I mean, it's just incredible to me. A big boy, and this guy isn't even on the higher end of the length spectrum. Incredible. So let me know what you guys think of this particular model from Haolonggood, the Shantungosaurus, Asian hadrosaur, the largest hadrosaur, and in fact, it is the largest non-sauropod dinosaur recorded to date. Closely related to the Edmontosaurus from North America, but I'm not going to say it easily exceeds its size, but if what they say is true about Edmontosaurus, getting up to and including 50 feet long, then it still eclipses it in size. It still retains the crown as the largest, but the Edmontosaurus is basically right behind it. I think also though that I think Shantungosaurus is a bit more bulky than Edmontosaurus. I believe they were like estimated to be up to 15 tons. I could be wrong about that, but I could have sworn I read that also, because these were big boys, and that's why not just its length alone would make it too tough for a lone Zuchen tyrannus to deal with. That bulk is just something else. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many other tyrannosaurs had to contend with hadrosaurs that eclipsed them that size. Like I said, most were, you know, in the 30-foot range. You could probably go back and think, you know, creatures like the Albertosaurines, Gorgosaurus, Daspletosaurus, all of them were around the same size, 26 to 30 feet long, and they had hadrosaurs that were around the same. So they were basically in the same contention boat as a Tyrannosaurus Rex going up against an Edmontosaurus. You know, they're all in around. But here in Asia, here in the East, Zutang was on an island by itself. It had to deal with this big dog, and I believe that it took more than one, for sure. They probably had to gang pile on this bad boy right here. So, hey, it is what it is. You know, life was hard back then. Life is hard now, but life was hard back then. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this model. I love it. I love the size. I'm impressed with the size of the model itself. And the wild thing is, this is on the smaller end of how large these guys got, and it's still huge, you know, and it's going to fit nicely in some display that I'll come up with, for sure. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Hit all of the important buttons, you know, the thumbs up or the thumbs down if you don't, you know, whatever you feel about this review, it's on you, so what you're going to do. Definitely subscribe if you have not. Please do that. And hit that notification bell, you know, so you could be informed of my next review, which is going to be another big boy. That's your hint right there. And another hint that I'll give you for the next review, it ain't a Patasaurus. So you figure that one out. So until then, until we meet again, you guys, thanks for rocking with me. Take care. Peace.